Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 4 of your 0 to 100 challenge. We're very glad to have you join myself, Nicole and Ardella this morning.
Hello.
I'm a Pilates instructor. I also focus on mobility and aero. And Ardella?
Yes, I'm a Pilates instructor as well, and I do aerial and pole.
So we'll guide you through your warm-up. First part of your warm-up is we're going to do roll downs. We're going to walk out to plank and then we'll walk back. Ardella throughout this session will be moving through the modified versions, which you can also opt to take at any point in time during this 30-minute session. All right, so let's begin. So you're going to exhale to roll down. 2, 3, 4. Hands down. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we walk back. 2, 3, and 4, and you're going to roll up. So you're going to make sure that you breathe in your nose. You can choose also to breathe out either from the nose or from the mouth. 3, 4. So in these plank variations, you can choose to lower the knees, just like Ardella, but really try to move through the spine. We're waking up the spine this morning. We're going to do 3 more times this way. 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to walk back again. Try to keep the weight as even as possible and work through the whole spine, through your hips. Last 2, 2, 3, and 4. You're going to walk back. 2, 3, rolling out. Last one here. Exhale, going down. Inhale as you move. And you're going to exhale to walk back. And inhale to roll all the way back up. We're going to step through the center right here, so you got space around you. You're going to move through hip circles. Make sure there's space on the left and on the right hand sides. You can place your hands over towards the hips, balancing on one leg. You're going to lift that right leg. I'm going to do hip circles on this side. So we're going to do roughly about 30 seconds hip circles in one direction. And if you find that you need to go a little bit slower, you don't have to follow our pace. You can always move to slower. You can always lift the knee lower. That's fine. You can always step the foot down whenever you need to. About 10 more seconds to go here in this direction. And use this time also to check in with that breath. And you're going to go the other direction. So you go from back to front. To get those hips really warm for all your leg and abs today. Moving through these hip circles, you're also working through those abs at the same time, right? Because helping you to stabilize just as much as you're warming up those legs. About 10 more seconds right here in this direction, the opposite direction. Then we'll proceed on to the other side. You have another 2 more seconds and finish that up. Let's head over to the other leg, going from forward to back. We're also working with that balance right here. You have your backward lunges today, so balance would be important for that one. Give it about 15 more seconds right here. Try to stand as tall as you can and ground the standing foot. If you start on a different side, that's okay. 4 more seconds. And last 1 second. Let's go the other direction. 30 more seconds right here. So as Pilates instructors, we tend to teach people to inhale from the nose and exhale from the mouth. And if that is unfamiliar with you, that's fine. You inhale from your nose and exhale from the nose. You have another 8 more seconds or so. And another 2. Finish up this last one. Step your feet nice and wide, wider than your mat, possibly wider than those hips. You can take the feet slightly turned out or parallel. We're going to go for a twist here. Take your hands towards your head. Try to keep those hips sturdy as if you've blocked them in concrete. You're going to turn towards your right and center. You exhale left, center. We go right, center, and left. Again, you can go slower. At any point in time, you don't necessarily always have to follow our pace. Then you also can go faster if you feel that you feel very energetic this rainy morning. I hope it's possibly not raining where you are. We're going to do this another 5 more times. So from here, 5 more sets. 4 more times. 3 more. We've got the Russian twist lined up as well. So this is important for that. 2 more. Last one here. Go to the right, stay here. We're going to do little pulses for 10 and 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go all the way to the left. 10 times here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to the center, just an easy side stretch. Breathe in towards that left side rib cage. Breathe as much as you can here. For another 3, 2, 1. Come all the way back up. Let's go over to the other side. You can either look up, you can also choose to look down. Stay here for another 3, 2, 1, and come all the way back up. All right, let's get ready for your sets of, you have 4 different exercises. You have squats, you have backward lunges, you have sit-ups, and you have a Russian twist. We start with the squats, so just a reminder again, Ardella will always be doing the modification, and you can take a look at her and choose to do what she does. And I will be doing the full set, all right? So for the squats, you can step your feet roughly hip width or maybe a little wider. The legs are either going to be a little parallel or maybe slightly turned out. So it really depends on your legs, your body type. You can modify it. It doesn't always have to be black and white, square all the time, yeah? So we're going to start those squats. Your hands, you can reach them forward towards the front, and you're going to go. You're going to inhale down and exhale up. You have a choice to maybe not go as slow like Ardella is chosen to do. So she's kind of just going halfway. You can also choose to go a little lower. We're going to try to keep that spine as stable as we can. So we want to avoid sticking the butt out too much as we go down. And we want to also avoid rounding too much, right, like this. So somewhere in between, as if you would be standing upright with the spine. Also check in to make sure that your knees feel good. If you find that they're starting to feel very uncomfortable at the front of the knees, then always up to maybe do less. Come up higher, just like Ardella. Take a modification whenever you need to. Give yourself permission to do that. So in again, inhale from the nose, exhale nose or mouth. Occasionally smile. This is only the first. This is only the first exercise of your first set. You know you can do it. You have 1 more second, and we're done with that. We're going to do your backward lunges this time. Backward lunges, you're going to step your left foot forward, and we're going to step back from here. You're going to take that right foot back and in. We're going to go through that same side for 30 seconds first, and then we'll move to the other side for 30 seconds. This is your first exercise, second exercise, first set. So you're going to take this option first. I'm going to give you more options later on. And we're going to change sides, left side. 30 seconds here again. You don't have to step too wide, but you really want to work through those hips, thighs, right? Both at the front and both at the back. If you're doing this at home without shoes, just be very careful that you don't stub your toes against anything. It's awfully painful. You have another 9 more seconds. You're getting there. Keep that posture strong, steady, stable. You have another 1 more second here. Good. Come down all the way down to the floor. You have your sit-ups. Ardell's going to do a modification where she's not going to go all the way down, and we're going to do Pilates style roll downs. So Ardell's going to go part of the way, and you can follow me going all the way down and articulating the spine all the way back up. Now we don't have a wall in front of us, so if you find that it's really challenging, you go down, cannot come up, you end up on your back, then you might want to put your feet against a wall. You don't have to do sit-ups with another person. You don't need a person to hold your feet. Just need a wall so they can step your feet against. As mentioned earlier, we do not have a wall here, so we do not have the privilege to put the feet against the wall to show you. But you can try that out yourself. If you find yourself shifting further and further back as you move through your sit-ups, please shimmy yourself forward as you go through this. You have another 5 more seconds here. The goal here is not to do as many as you can. The goal here is to do it as well as you can. Russian twist, sitting in the same position. You can choose to keep your feet down, legs together, or slightly apart. You're going to take your hands, either like Ardella, she's going to cross them by the chest, or towards your head. You're going to lean back and hinge back a little bit. You're going to turn towards your right, and then towards your left. So very similarly to how you did your warm-ups, where you were standing upright and you did your twists, this is the same. Only now it's a lot of the ab work, hip work as well, to keep the legs in this position. Once again, if you find yourself really hard to find stability, then maybe you want to choose again feet against the wall. All right? Or you can put something really heavy against your legs, or you can set your feet underneath a low bar or bench so that you do not let the feet rise with you, and not at this moment. You have 10 more seconds right here. So exhale to turn, exhale to turn. 5 more seconds. 2, last 1, and then take a rest here. So you have 1 minute to rest, and then you got 3 more of these 4 exercises to go. Take a quick sip of water. How are you feeling, Ardella?
Oh my gosh, tired already. I can't believe it. We've got 3 more sets.
Yes, we have 3 more sets. But I'm so glad that you woke up with us, even though it's, well, kind of a day to stay in bed, right? You have. So if you haven't had your breakfast, always remember you can always do less, right? Especially, without that sugar fueling you or the carbs to fuel you. But if you had something to eat, or sometimes you're wondering, how much should I eat? And when should I eat? We usually recommend to eat 2 hours before. If not, just have a very light snack if you're rushing for time. We're almost going to start with the next set. We're going to come up to stand. We have 3 more. And we're going to give you a little bit more options in your 3rd and 4th rounds, yeah? So 2nd round, we're going to go through the same thing. Let's go back to your squats, your hands. Reach them forward to the front. You can separate them, you can bring them together. It's up to you. Again, going as far down as possible or going down part of the way. How much part of the way? You can do the Macarena as you move through this, right? Or you can also hold something, right? You don't have the gym equipment here, but you can choose to hold weights, right? A wall ball, or no wall ball, no weights, water bottle, your pet, your dog. That works as well. I'm sure you've seen all of those pet workout videos. So ground the heels to the floor and use that to power you to come up. So you're also using that posterior chain, the butt, the hammies to also lift you and not just those quads. You have 10 more seconds. Since you notice Ardella and I have decided to change around our hands at some point in time, please feel free. That's your freestyle. You have 1 more second. Good. Backward lunges. Step that left foot forward again. So you're just stepping back and coming forward. So as you step back, just make sure that that back knee, you're not feeling any discomfort at the front of the knee. If not, maybe you just step back and lower the knee less. If you can, you step the knee as low as you can go. Also be very mindful where the floor is, so that you're not slamming that knee to the ground. Not too comfortable that way. 2 more seconds on this side, and then let's go other side. Again, where do you want to put your hands? If your fingers are getting tired like this, put them on your back, put them on your head. Put them out to the side. So changing the arm position is also going to change the work they're going to feel in them. Hold weights if you want to. All right, we have another 10 more seconds here. 5 more seconds. And 4. And 2. All right, moving on to the sit-ups. Come all the way down to the ground. Pat your tailbone if you need to. You're feeling that grinding sensation on your tailbone. Once again, Ardella is going to roll down half the way. I'll go all the way down. So hands can also reach overhead. And then you can also reach the arms forward. Sit nice and tall. So we're doing the Pilates version where you are meant to roll down 1 vertebrae at a time, or 1 segment of your spine at a time. In that way, then you know how to control the whole spine. We go down. We'll come up and sit as tall as we can, and that's how we finish. And you go down again. So if you're doing half of the way, always come up and sit tall first, and then reset and go back down. We usually recommend you to exhale where it's effortful. So usually exhaling as we come up, inhale in between, and then exhale as you go down. You have another 3 more seconds. Finish this up. Russian twist. So set your feet up again, legs either together or slightly apart. You're going to bring your hands either to your hip or your chest, and once again you're going to twist right and left. Try to squeeze those inner thighs together. Notice if you don't work your legs very much, what happens is that the legs will slip and slide with you. This means the whole hip is also moving, right? Like what I'm doing right now. So let's going to try to avoid this by grounding the hips and squeezing the inner thighs. If you find I cannot really lean back enough, Already feeling a lot of ab work just sitting fairly upright. That's fine. Yes. Ardella, when you're ready, the other one.
Nicole can take a quick breath.
Yeah.
Poor thing. You know, exercising and talking at the same time is another level, you know, you guys. You can try that at home, maybe speak to your husband or speak to your friend or speak to whoever is close to you while exercising. It's a whole nother level. Your core gets a lot more workout than it should. All right.
You get your 1 minute break now. Again, you may not want to talk at this point.
Poor Nicole! Nicole deserves a sip of water also.
It's okay. Personally, I don't really like to drink very much water during like my breaks between sets.
Why is that the case?
Maybe it's just habit. It's habit, yeah. So I prefer to drink the water
after. I get what you mean. Makes more sense.
Sometimes, you know, during the workout, if you drink too much.
Oh, I like to take like 2 sips. Yeah. Like I tell myself like 2 sips just to, you know.
It tastes like honey when you're thirsty.
I know, right? Yeah.
Right. So.
And also because water also helps to hydrate you, and it's important not to drink too much at one time. Yeah. So that your body can receive the fluids.
So Ardella likes to drink her water in sips in between. I like to take my water before and after. You choose how you want to drink your water.
Exactly. Okay.
Another third round. So starting with the squats again. If you want to change about your stance, you can also take your feet to turn wider or keep them parallel. We're going to take them a little wider this time. So knees are going to follow where those second toes are going. Choose where you're going to go with those hands again. And you can take the hands into fists. You can cross the arms, right? Hands forward often is kind of like a balancing thing. If you don't need that, keep your hands towards you. Don't need that. Reach your arms over the head to work those arms out as well. Hold something overhead, right? Hold your water bottle. You're actually more than halfway through this already. And remember, this is already your third set. So you're more than halfway through everything now. Like, thank goodness, right?
I know.
I don't have to talk so much more. 10 more seconds.
You deserve a round of applause.
Thank you. You should be feeling your legs. The legs, they kind of burn by this point. It's a good kind of burn though. Yeah? You have 1 more second. Backward lunges. Your left foot forward here. So you're going to step back and forward again. So options to stay with this, just like Ardella is doing right now. Options to step back and pull a knee up to your chest. Right? Just like this. Again, finding that balance in that standing leg. Balancing, talking, and breathing all at the same time is a little bit different. So for you, you'd probably want to find somewhere to focus on so that you're able to concentrate on the balance. And maybe if you find that you're losing balance quite a lot, then you're going to do it slower. Change sides. And if you're going for this challenge, you're lifting the knee up, I want you to try to stand as tall as you can so that you're not rounding your back like this. You have to bring the knee up towards you. Kind of defeats the purpose. Whoops. See, even I also lose balance, so it's okay if you lose balance, as long as you know the limits that you need to work with, your own limits. Last one. Let's come down to the floor, sit-ups. So again, legs are together, legs are apart, hands to your chest. You can go all the way down, or you can go halfway. And then we're going to go a little bit faster here. So if you do not want to articulate all the way down, that's okay. You can also just go halfway, or you can just do your traditional sit-ups where you're not articulating as much. Just be very mindful that you do not plop onto the floor. Right? After you've done like many rounds, you end up landing like a washboard. So you want to avoid that. In sit-ups, your back shouldn't be hurting. All right? So if you can feel that your back is hurting, you probably need to do a little bit less. Maybe go backwards. That's okay. Always give yourself permission to do less. Sometimes we live in this society, we need to do more and more. It's okay to do less. Russian twist.
All right.
Setting up for that. You're going to lean back a little bit and you're going to turn right and left. Now, of course, if you go too far back, those legs are going to want to come up, and you can choose to do that. You can also choose to use your hands side to side to side. So taking the legs off is additional variation. You can keep the feet down though. Or take modification, just like Ardella. Just kind of going halfway, not going all the way. Taking the legs off, remember, variation. You're not to do, you're not to. But you need to do the twist, so you have to choose one, right? As mentioned, you can choose to use weights as well, right? So if you're using weights, you can use a weight in turn and turn, puppy, cat, whichever. If they are available and they don't run away. You have 3 more seconds. Last one, and take a break. So again, you have 1 minute here. How are you doing, Ardella?
I'm doing well. Fun fact, Nicole actually has a pet cat at home, you know. That's the reason why. Oh, really?
Yes, I have two.
Oh my goodness.
But I don't think I can hold them this way until the workout. They will run away.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I know that there are some of those that there are some of them that like snuggles, you know.
Yeah. Mine hasn't decided which one they like.
Okay.
So, you know, choosing to hold your pet during the exercise is really also a time for you to bond with your pet while you're working out, right?
Right.
And using a weight and trying not to be distracted by everything else that they're doing. So, it is not to torture your pet. All right, you have 10 more seconds here. We're going to come to stand. You're on that last round.
Time flies when you're having fun, right?
Yeah, actually it's quite fast. So, let's go. Your feet either slightly apart, closer together, it's up to you. And we're going to go to those squats. This is your last round of 4 exercises. Try to give it the best that you've got. But at the same time, if you know that you're starting to hurt in places that you shouldn't, like those knees, the ankles, the back, do less, go slower. If you're holding weights, ditch them. Right? You want to make sure that you always maintain quality and form. We always want to avoid just the quantity. Yeah. You're halfway through again. Actually, a little bit more than that. Right? You can also follow like Ardella, when she's moving her arms, or just keeping your arms static like just as I am.
Helps with breathing, no?
Yes, it does. So moving the arms might also help you to time your breath because you forget, right? So you exhale and inhale, right? It reminds you. You have another 4 more seconds. That's a good one, Ardella. Yeah. All right, backward lunges. If you don't want to step your left foot forward, it's okay. You can step the other foot forward, all right? So you're going to step back again and choosing options, right? Just stepping back or stepping up and pulling the knee to chest. Again, we do 30 seconds on one side. And then we swap over to the other. You don't have to do like exactly equal number. I was talking before this whole session. Because when you're walking, you don't go 1, 2, 1, 2, right? At some point, you're going to have more steps on one leg than the other leg. And that's okay. Let's change sides. And sometimes after a while, I get very anal with doing equal on both sides.
I know, yeah. Well, we do our best as much as we
Yeah,
can, you know, because we have 2 sides of the body anyway. Right.
And as Pilates instructors, we can be very poor at counting.
Yes.
We'll give you more on one side than the other side.
Just saying.
Another 2 more seconds. And last one. To the floor we go. You are almost there. Ab work here. Back to those sit-ups. How do you want to do it? You want to go part way down? You want to go all the way down? You want to go really fast? You want to go really slow? Actually, going slow is harder. It's easier to kind of swing with momentum than it is to control the descent and to control the ascent.
Truth, Nicole, truth.
Right? So if you haven't yet tried the Pilates way of rolling down, you should try it. Once again, just making sure that the tailbone area, the sacrum is this flat bony piece that's somewhere above the crack of the bum. I don't know how better way to say that. But that sacrum, it shouldn't hurt either, right? So you might want to pat it for some people, not everybody though. You have 2 more seconds, last one. And we're going to do those Russian twists. Legs on or off the floor, it's up to you. Let's go. So twist right, twist left. So Ardella and I teach classes, and often when you're giving people sets, they finish so quickly, and you're like, what? You're already done? But then you make them go slow, and then they start to shake. So you could go slow pause, turn and pause, turn and pause. rather than like, yeah, I can do so many, right? So you're building up that strength with slowness so that you build up to that 100 eventually, because you would have the strength and you would have the stamina to go more eventually. So try not to rush the process. Everybody takes time. How much? How long? No one can guarantee you. Also depends on how hard you work, right? Nothing comes free and easy. Almost nothing, I guess. One more second, and you are done with 4 sets, 4 exercises. Yay, Ardella.
High five!
High five! All right. Please tune in next time. But first, I forgot, cool down, right? So we're going to do pigeon. You have options. So Ardella, maybe you could do the option where you sit down and cross that leg.
Sounds good.
So that's an option. The other option is, of course, to take the same right leg forward and to take that left leg behind. You don't have to sit down to there, and the goal here is to get the stretch into the outer buttock from all those squats, backward lunges, right? So the outer hip area. So if you need to bend the knee in a little bit, you want to take the leg out a little bit. Most importantly, knee feels good, ankle feels good, and you feel the stretch here. All right? Of course, in this position, you're going to get some hips as well. Don't worry, we're going to get there with some hip stretches later on, after these ones. You're going to hold here for another 5 more seconds or so. At home, you're pretty much at home, I hope, or maybe in the office. So you can hold this for 1 to 2 minutes. Yeah? Time constraints here. We just hold it for about 30 seconds. We're going to swap over to the other side.
Okay. This feels so good now after all those
Yeah,
workouts.
I know, right? So that stretching is also to allow you that time to slow down that heart rate, right? To really, truly catch that breath and to observe the sensations in your body. We live 10 blocks away so often, right, Ardella? Like living 10 blocks away from your body, not understanding what's going on.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Right?
I
So
believe in proprioception a lot, yeah.
using all of this time to just observe. All right, so we're going to do a little bit of hip stretching. So of course, if you did that version of pigeon, you would have got some of that hip stretch as well. And if you didn't use Ardella's version, you're going to want to have to stretch those hips right here. So option is to be on your knees, just like this, right? Or you could come to stand if the knee being down on the ground is not a choice for you. So Ardella's holding her knee in, foot towards her buttocks. She's going to try to tuck her pelvis. Yeah, so she's showing you a side view. Thank you, Ardella.
Yeah.
So tucking that pelvis is to really target those hip flexors. All right, and of course you can also send the leg back just a little bit so that you start to feel a bit more of those quads. I'm the knee down variation. Notice I'm not just sitting all the way down, all right? So I'm also staying up a little bit and tucking that pelvis, and then from here I shift forward. So it feels more like a workout. It's not just a stretch. We're going to move over to the other side. Whether you tuck or point the back toes, again, is up to you. Same thing in the standing variation. But very important, pelvis or hips. Yeah. Why do we tuck the pelvis? It is just how physiologically all the muscles and tissues are set up, right? So if you arch too much, you kind of take that away, and you can see how I start to fold in the hip. So if you tuck, you get all of that juiciness in the hips and the thighs. Yeah. Again, if you're doing this at your own pace, 1 minute, 2 minutes, right? Try not to be distracted, and phones and stuff like that, and just use this time for yourself. Good. And then we're going to come down towards the floor. We're going to go for a little bit of a side stretch. So you can take your legs with the leg forward this way, and the back knee can come in or go further back depending on how the hips and knees feel. I'm going to get you to take your right hand down, left arm just stretch over. You can bend that bottom elbow. We can sit cross-legged just really to get that side stretch. We're going to do a little bit of a rotation as well. So you're going to allow the torso to turn down. So you're going to start to feel a bit of the stretch through the back body. And then we're going to turn back to the side, and we're going to come all the way up, and we're going to shift over to the other side. So hand is somewhere in line with the hip in the side bend. The reason why you don't go too far forward is, can't balance too far back. Not a problem, but if your shoulder's not too happy, just somewhere out to your side. I'm going to rotate. As you rotate, the focus here is to get the stretch through the ribs at the back, a little bit through that right back body. If you're doing the opposite side, that's your left back body. Good, and then you're going to come all the way up and center. We're going to stretch the belly a little bit with your spinal extension or cobra type of stretch. So your option is to, of course, kind of like stay low, all right? And again, tucking that pelvis, like we mentioned earlier, with the hip flexors where you tuck your pelvis. You could also choose to take the hands a bit wider, just come out a little bit higher, or you can walk your hands in however it feels appropriate. You just want to make sure that your back doesn't feel this. All right, the focus here is in the front side, the belly stretching as you chuck the pelvis to the ground. Maybe feel a little bit of hips here, but not the back. All right, and your neck here, you don't have to look forward. If it's tired, you could look down a little bit. You can also stretch the neck a little, going side to side. I understand that some people, you're working from home, and somehow you have more work. That's what I've heard from a lot of members. So just stretching out the neck, giving yourself a bit of extension partway through the day. And then come back to the center. We're going to sit into a bit of a triangle. It's always nice to round things up. Sitting all the way towards those heels. And again, if kneeling like this is not an option, right? I've had some people, they'll just come here. You can put your bolster underneath your knees and just sit on that. And we're going to slowly roll ourselves all the way back up. And you are done. Warm-ups, 4 sets of 4 exercises, and you'll cool down. And you're ready to go for the rest of the day. Please join us for the next episode. Next Sunday, we'll also be having a Q&A session, so join us then. Thank you for joining us on day 4, 0 to 100 challenge. Always remember, we work little bits at a time, and eventually, maybe you'd be able to reach those that 100 challenge or whatever your pace is, and whichever modification you need to take. Thank you, and have a great day. Thanks, Ardella.
Thank you, Nicole. Ciao. Have a great day, everybody.